Right, we're talking with Central Methodist men's head coach Jeff Sherman after a 77-51 win over Graceland. And coach, just the energy your kids had in the second half. I know you all kind of found a little bit of a spurt there halfway through the first half, but your kids, the way they came out in the second half tonight, I thought they really set the tone and did a great job creating quite a bit of a gap there in the score.
Yeah, there's no question. We that first part of the start of the game, I think we were down 7-2. We might have scored the first bucket, maybe. I can't really remember, but we 5-2, something like that. But the part that I told the guys afterwards that I was most impressed with was, only giving up 23 points to Graceland that first half, and they came out and scored 5 or 7 fairly quick. And so there had to be a lot of things happen. We played with a little bit more of a urgency, I thought, which we keep trying to sell up on the defensive end. And let's just face it, they had a lot of shots not fall, and that kind of plays into it a little bit too. So it was a good start of the game, which I think there's playing here at home, we've just really kind of struggled finding our niche, and that was a good way for us to get going.
Adding on to what you're talking defensively, I remember looking up at the scoreboard with about 10 minutes to go in the second half, and I'm like, wow, Graceland only still has 32 points. I think at one point you all went on a 16-2 run. The offense was really flourishing, but the defense, I think you were forcing them to take a lot of tough shots. They were taking a lot of low percentage shots. They definitely weren't falling, and your guys did a good job of rebounding to hold them to just one-shot possessions.
Yeah, I thought they were throwing up a lot of shots. I was really kind of surprised they weren't going down. But the good part about that is we were getting those rebounds, and they weren't just getting a lot of easy putbacks, and that's typically been something that we've been struggling with. A team misses the first shot, we watch, they get that next rebound and put it back in. This was not the type of game I thought it was going to be. Even offensively from our end, I thought it would have been a more of a offensive output, more up and down. I was pleased how it was because it fit our tempo better. We executed a lot of sets, and I thought we had a little bit better energy and a little bit better execution. There were some really nice cuts to the basket. The guys moved the ball well. That one play that we passed it 5 or 6 times, and then Scott Stegman had that power layup to finish underneath. That was really impressive. I was very pleased with how we moved the ball, the timing, the urgency we had with it, the high energy. If we can play every possession like that, we're a tough team, and of course that's tough to do, and that's what we're still trying to strive to be. But it was a good total team effort tonight.
And you mentioned this before we started talking, the assist to turnover ratio. And I think the big thing you look at with this team is can we handle the ball? Can we keep from getting out of control? And the one thing that you did notice looking at the stat sheet was the assist to turnover ratio was better than 2-to-1, only 10 turnovers, and 22 assists on 30 baskets. And you did mention that one possession where you all passed it around and got a good look to Scott, but that wasn't the only one. I think there were a lot of times where your kids found a lot of good looks just sharing the ball tonight.
Yeah, there's no question. Again, part of the thing that's made us halfway successful thus far this year has been we're one of the higher turnover assist ratios in the country. But think about tonight when you still have your two starting point guard, or one starting point guard, the first back, neither one of them out there, and we're still able to do something like that, which is something that we hadn't been doing really the last few games. So now tonight was a typical night for us the way we were early in the year. And we're doing it shorthanded, which now we're getting more players involved. More players are getting in tune to what we need to do. Might be out of their comfort zone, but they're now starting to kind of buy into what we have to have them do. And I tell you, we're going to give ourselves a chance at some special things yet this year if these guys will continue on. It hasn't been pretty. We've got a long ways to go. We are not perfect by any means, but ultimately you have to be better than the team you're playing that night. And you can allow yourself some mistakes in there, but again, it's the extra effort that the bench gives you. It's that extra pass that you didn't have earlier in the year because you didn't quite maybe trust each other. these guys are starting to see some of that, and that's kind of fun, and that's kind of what brings teams together during some of these crunch times.
And you talk about being without 2 point guards today, obviously without John Palmer and without Cody Anderson. I know last time you all were in that situation, Greg Williams had a great game, but I thought you had a couple of other kids step up and have huge nights. Quentin Hunter, definitely. We talked about him in the preseason. This is a kid, I mean, he hasn't always put up these 19-point games, but, I mean, he's that kind of kid that he's very capable of doing that. I thought you shot extremely well tonight, and you also, the energy Mike McCode brought to the team tonight. I know he missed a little bit in the second half with a bloody nose or a bloody lip, but the energy he brought in the second half, I thought those two were tremendous for you tonight.
Well, I thought first Mike, he played a lot smarter tonight, and I don't mean that in a certain sense if you're smart or not. From a team standpoint, I don't think there's many players on other teams that can stay and keep him out of the paint. And I think he's not really buying into that because shooters like to still shoot the ball. And he's not a pure shooter by any means, but he's not a bad shooter. And but the thing he's strong. And he's stronger than most anybody's going to go against. So I like the number of times he attacked the basket tonight. If he keeps that up, he's not only going to make himself a better player, he's going to make us a better team. Quentin, this was one of his best games. The shooting percentage tonight was phenomenal. I thought he kind of played. He let the game most of the time. He took one quick shot out there that I thought he didn't really need to have, but he let the game come to him. He also got 5 boards, which he's another bigger guard that I think we need to get that type of production, not only just the scoring, because we're really, most of the time this year, we've been struggling scoring. And tonight, 77 points is nice because there's a 26-point gap there between the teams, but most teams score a lot more points against Graceland, and it's because they get you playing in that type of game. I just, the more I think about it now, I'm just pleased that this is a game that turned out more the way we wanted it to. Our defensive output stepped up, that it was more of a focal point than our offense. Giving up 51 points is that's a good 20 points under their average. So I think there's some things that we can actually build on to get better for our upcoming games, and we're going to have some pretty big games coming up.
And touching on the rebounding effort, 46 boards to 31 for Graceland. We talked about Scott Stegman. This is a kid, I don't think too many teams, now that everybody in the conference has seen him once except Peru, I don't think he's going to fly under the radar a second time through the conference. But it doesn't really matter because he's just, 13 boards tonight. And as we were talking about, this isn't a one-time thing. He has been a consistent guy getting, 8 to 12 rebounds a night. Just how big has he really been for you all the first halfway through a conference season?
Well, I'm not so sure he would have done this last year. I mean, he's getting minutes this year, and he's getting production. He got production last year with very few minutes. It's just that as freshmen, he was not supposed to be getting these minutes from the preseason standpoint, because we didn't know what all he could really do. He's not flashy, but he's going to keep getting these numbers because he's playing a number of minutes, and that's his job. He's just a player that'll do his job. He doesn't care to have a bunch of points. He knows that he's going to have to play, and he gets rebounds. And I wish we had more people like that. Every team is just dying to have someone like that on the team. We've got one, and he's only going to keep getting better. He's not going to ever pull up more points than what he's scoring. He's probably never going to pull up more rebounds than what he's getting. He's just going to be very consistent at getting those type of things. And I wouldn't want to play against him because if you rest, he's going to sneak on by you. It's fun to have someone like that on the team, and again, he picks everybody up. He's quiet. He kind of does it in his own way. But the overall rebounds this year, we're not a very big team. But I bet you if you look at the rebounding stats in conference, we're probably at the halfway mark, a pretty good shot at being the top rebounding team. And that's something I always wanted, to see if we can shoot for. But it's something that right now we have to have that. I mean, we have to be a team that's going to be one of those, and not, say, well, that's our weakness because we're not very big. We have to be a good rebounding team.
And then after the win, this moves you all to 13-5 overall, 5-3 in the conference. I believe as we just saw, Peru State won. That's your next opponent on the road Saturday. They're 4-4. So again, we talk about how big this game is because at the halfway point, it would be great if we saw the Eagles in the top 4. Gives you pretty good leverage, gives you a good opportunity, maybe move up a spot or two in the second half. As we saw, Peru's a team that got off to a hot start this season. And they've made some noise quite a bit with this new coach. Just what are some of the things you're looking for to work on, or hopefully to be an edge for you all coming to Saturday's game?
Well, I think Saturday's going to be the toughest game for us all year. I mean, I really think that's going to be a big challenge for us. They're very athletic. They're the most talented team in the league. They're trying to find themselves. Again, a good win for them at Baker. They slipped up now. Graceland beat them, a few weeks ago. That was one of Graceland's only wins at Graceland. But if we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to pull out a win with Peru, we probably have separated ourselves a couple of games from that 5th and 6th teams. If not, it's just going to be a bunch of ties up there. So we can really do ourselves a huge favor, and if we play well, we come out ahead. We've now kind of made a little separation where I don't think a lot of us thought there would be. It would be a 4-team race. But if not, Peru's right back up in the thick of things. And they got us, they got an edge on us with the head-to-head, play. And it's our last game of the year. So you're not only playing for Saturday, you're also kind of starting to set up that last game of the year, kind of sending the message. This team right here is going to be tough for us. I think it's a tough matchup for us. They play a lot of zone. They're very long. They press the whole night. We just hope that they don't get hot right off the bat, and that just carries over. Evangel snuck out of there with a 1-point win, and they were behind the whole night. They went to Benedictine. They beat Benedictine. But we don't know what players they have. They're missing a few players from first semester. So we just don't know as much about them, obviously, being a new team. But they're a scary team, and I haven't heard one coach that has doubted them being the most talented team in the league. And that tells you something right there. We got some good ball teams. So it'll be quite the challenge for us.
All right. Again, that was an interview with head coach Jeff Sherman after Central Methodist 77-51 win over Graceland. Congratulations on the win, Coach.
You betcha. Thank you.